I want every one of you to remember these three words. Nigerians, we are no more. Southeasterners and Southerners, we cannot become. And Biafrans, we must be.
A servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. We are live and we are direct this very morning, afternoon, or night, depending on where you are. And we start this very day by making it abundantly clear that the greatest enemy of a black man is the way that we reason. If not that the way we reason is very, very abhorrent, there is no need or reason why we should be suffering and complaining every blessed day without the courage to do something about it.
Welcome, fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom across the world. I welcome you once again to this amazing program. Wherever you are watching us from, we appreciate you. Please kindly like and share this program to all platforms. Share to family and friends. Share to everyone that is concerned across the world, so that the world will get the true picture of what is going on in the contraption called Nigeria against the indigenous people, more especially the United States of Biafran people. In this platform, we bring information to expose the atrocities of Nigerian government and the success made by the Biafran government so far. In this episode, I am going to share with you some mind-blowing video. All you have to do is to pay attention from beginning to end. When we say that Nigerian government is a terrorist government, it is not a blackmail or propaganda. We are not just accusing them. They are complicit directly and indirectly. Follow us on this very program. You are going to see for yourself information coming from their own conventional media to confirm every single accusation we have made. Most time people think that we are speaking out of anger, out of hatred, but not. Watch and see for yourself.
Back is still VOP this morning. Nigeria's federal government concluded its case in the terrorism and tourism trial of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu on June 19, following testimony from its fifth and final witness, a Department of State Services operative who linked Kanu's broadcast to violence and property destruction in the Southeast. With 5 witnesses having testified, the prosecution announced it had presented sufficient evidence, prompting Kanu's lead defense lawyer, Chief Kanu Agabi, to declare the intention to file a no-case submission on the grounds that the evidence has failed to establish a prima facie case demanding a formal defense. In response, Kanu boldly declared in open court, "I have no case to answer," citing earlier court ruling that overturned IPOB's prescription and labeled his rendition from Kenya unconstitutional actions he says were ignored. Justice James Omotosho has ruled that both parties must file written legal submissions addressing the no-case claims, with proceedings adjourned to July 18 for resolution. As the spotlight turns to whether the court finds the prosecution's evidence sufficient to proceed, public attention remains fixed on the landmark case and its implications for justice and free speech in Nigeria. We have with us in the studio Mr. Dele Fanimo, a seasoned reporter and VOP TV in-house political analyst, and beside him is still Mr. Lawale Kondayo, who is an educationist, political and public affairs commentator on the farmer. And we have still with us Vain Makodi, Professor Emmanuel Odue Usue, who is the professor with the Benue State University. And from Benin Studios, we have Comrade Bobby Egosa Obayuwana, a public and political analyst, also join us for the second conversation. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here with us.
Always my pleasure.
Now, let me start off with you, Comrade, Comrade Bobby Egosa Obayuwana. Now, this particular case about Nnamdi Kanu, who happens to be the indigenous, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, is more like taking another turn, because yesterday in court, after the 5th witness from VSS presented all that he has against him, he was able to say, I don't have any case to answer. And he cited his rendition from Kenya as one, and also the fact that a court won't say that IPOB is not a prescribed organization, you know, and also had a fine placed on federal government, which the government actually did not really, according to him, did not obey. You know, he said that those things are unconstitutional action. I say he doesn't have any case to present at this point in time. Although the case is still in court, you know, yes, it's still in court. It has been adjourned for proper hearing and cross-examination and all that. Now, as a Nigerian, given the fact that this case has been there for so long, it's been there for so many years, what do you think will be the outcome of this? You know, what do you actually think will be the outcome of this? Do you think that we'll have to see justice at the end of the whole proceeding? Do you think, you know, public attention being fixed on this particular case now, even with the international recognition, you know, is going to speak well to Nigeria having justice and a free speech environment?
Well, for me, what we are seeing in this case between Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the federal government are mere political jabberwocky and political theatrics. This case did not start today, the last time I checked. We have had this case since the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. And this case has further dragged to this current administration. What we have been hearing have not really been politically interesting to Nigerians over time. In fact, yesterday when the fifth witness, who was tagged letter EEE, tendered his evidence in court, the stimulus response that sparked up reactions from some Nigerians sitting close to me is that we are beginning to see witnesses who now bear alphabets as names, all in the guise of being under security cover. So for me, they should stop disturbing Nigerians with all these political theatrics and political noise making. If they want to follow the rule of law, they should follow it to the latter. And this also borders on the integrity of the Nigerian justice system. They should not use any form of discretionary or unpopular controversial technicality to give selective justice to either of the party. Let the findings reflect transparency to the admiration of sanity in our justice system from the Nigerian perspective. Because what is going on now is that today they will converge in court. Tomorrow they will adjourn to on the 18th of July, which they have done. And from on the 18th of July now, Nigerians can confidently predict that there is still going to be another adjournment. All these charades, all these facades, political facades, are becoming boring and uninteresting to the interest of Nigerians. If Nnamdi Kanu is found wanting of treason or any form of threat to national security and integration, it should be done in a transparent manner.
All right,
because I've been following this case.
Okay.
We have not seen a situation where it has been alleged that Nnamdi Kanu carried guns,
all right,
or is in possession of weapons of mass destruction, or is carrying out activities that are physically and realistically glaring to the eyes of Nigerians across the world.
All right,
that is becoming
thank you very much, Comrade
threat.
Bobby.
But
Thank you very much, Comrade Bobby. Okay, let's just land on your thoughts, please, so I can move to another guest.
It's more important than the interest of any individual.
All right, thank you.
Entity.
Thank you very much. That's a good place to land. All right, so let me bring you to the studio now, Mr. Fanimo. Now, the frequent outbursts of Kanu in courts, you know, we saw a reaction from the case where he, you know, spoke out, basically speaking out above the head of his lawyers, saying that, look, I have no case to answer. Do you think this will affect his case going forward?
Much as it may not really affect the facts and evidence before the court, but sometimes judges also weigh in on the emotion of accused persons. Especially, this is a case that carries death penalty if found guilty. And this is a man that has been traumatized for more than 5 years behind the bars. He has not been able to see his wife. He has not been able to see his children. He has not been able to have contact with the outside world other than the lawyers. And most of the people he sees every day when he wakes up and when he goes back to sleep in the night are the regular people that are security operatives. And a high-profile person like this will not be allowed to interact freely with those people that mill around him.
Could it be that government is playing on his emotions to ensure that, you know, when his emotions get out of hand,
at the point he almost broke.
That can be used against him.
The continued incarceration almost broke him at a point. That you recall that in the open court when he was still being tried by the other woman,
Justice Nyako.
Justice Nyako, that he almost wanted to fight with his lawyer, pushing his lawyer. What probably will be going on in his brain is, look, you guys are toying with my lives. I mean, my life. And you are sitting here, coming here to adjourn and adjourn and adjourn endlessly. And I am ebbing away.
Could that be a ploy? Could that be a ploy on the part of his accusers to ensure that, look, he's pushed to the brink and then breaks and then does something that can be used to further detain him or maybe incarcerate him for
since I'm not a security operative, I may not be able to say that, but I am putting myself in his position.
I'm also putting myself. But I do understand that you did a bit of psychology. My question borders on psychology, actually.
If you are going to the realm of psychology, I can tell you that
yes,
as he is now, a lot of things are running through his brain. And when you want to break down a suspect, I've been involved in assisting police to interrogate suspects in the past. When you want to break a suspect, don't engage that suspect for a while. The brain will run riot at some point, such that if you are not careful, that person may just move from neurosis to psychosis. That's why some people, when they are incarcerated alone in solitary confinement for a while, the tendency is for them to be mentally affected.
Go depressed.
Because depression will set in. And then you begin to hallucinate or you begin to experience schizophrenia.
All right.
So what we are seeing in the court at that point, is an Nnamdi Kanu beyond the satirics, beyond everything that is going on inside the court. He was also looking beyond the court to say, what will be my fate? Am I going to continue to stay here? And there is no conscious effort to close this case as quickly as possible.
Okay, I like the fact that you mentioned his reaction to his lawyers. You know that within the past 2 months, he changed lawyers.
Yes.
I think about 3 senior advocates joined him, the team. You know, and one of them is Kanu Agabi. You know, and now former Attorney General of the Federation. Now Kanu Agabi says that when the federal government closed its case. Now Kanu Agabi said yesterday that
the defendant is good, no case submission.
Do you think that will make a difference? The personality of the former Attorney General of the Federation? Because I think we talked a bit about it that time, and I was like, will it make any difference? And some people were of the opinion that, look, it will make a difference. Not because the Jumako hadn't done a good job, but because these people might have another angle, you know, that they used to pursue the case. At that point, we talk about the coming in with a political angle to it, even being lawyers. Is that what we see, you know, happening at this moment?
You see, in all ramifications, this is a high-profile case.
Okay.
Because if it were to be just ordinary people like you and I, there won't be any need for government to employ a son of the stature of a woman law. And if Kanu also didn't realize that he is in a precarious situation, he wouldn't have changed his lawyer and bring in Kanu Agabi for whatever reasons that is not known to me. But the point is, he needed to get a lawyer that would match in and outside the court a stature of an Awomolo at that moment.
Okay.
Because it could end up at some point that there could be a kind of political solution to this crisis. Okay. Because, don't forget, Kanu Agabi had been in office before. Okay. He knows what goes on in the Attorney General, Minister of Justice.
The right buttons to press and all of that.
Well,
I'm happy that we are at this point again, because we were very upbeat at that time when Bianca Ono was appointed.
Even before then?
Even before. And Bianca made a statement, you've been very upbeat. And if you relying on what happened or what has happened in the recent past, are you still upbeat about it being released soon?
Obviously, I'm still upbeat. And I still feel that this guy will come out. I have that conviction. I don't know where it's coming from, but I have a conviction that this guy will be released before the end of the year.
All right, then. Okay, Lawale Kundayo. Comrade Bobby, the virtual guest, said something about the witnesses bearing acronyms, the witnesses being hidden. That has been the pattern of the case from the onset. Do you think that will put some sort of cloud around the credibility of witnesses being presented by the government? The fact that these people are only known to the accused. The accused is the only person made to see them. Nigerians cannot see and attest to their credibility or the possibility that they may or may not know what they are saying.
It's baffling. From the little I know, somebody like that, you are presenting a witness. At least the witness had information, which one of the things is that there must be the accused must be able to say something about that. But you cover the face, you can't even identify the person.
Well, I think they're put in a box where he can see from wherever he sits.
No, I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes, Nnamdi Kanu.
Can you see the person that is covered?
In most cases, he's the only one that can see.
Okay, he's the only.
Yes, but Nigerians, the rest of the court, the rest of people in the court cannot. Does that put some sense of distrust in the entire case?
It's going towards that now, because for the government.
What are your thoughts? I'm asking your thoughts.
My thought is that this thing is kind of, it's derailing Nigerians. So Nigerians are being skeptical about whether there will be justice or maybe there will be manipulation. That is what is going on. That's why he says something about Nigerians are tired of all these things. Because I believe that the intelligence gathering, they don't show their face. Now, you don't tell someone intelligence agent to come and begin to testify. They only give information to the person that will now use it and come to court and testify.
So you don't have issues with the fact that the people who are witnesses are being shielded from the public?
That's what I'm saying. That they don't. If the person is an intelligence agent, he's supposed to gather the information and give it to the person that will come and appear. So that the person will now come openly appear, then it can be cross-examined, everybody will see him, and then. So that's why you see the police will not disclose their intelligence source to protect the source. They won't disclose it. But the person will give them the information. They will now build that information around themselves as if they are the one who actually got it.
All right, so do you share a different view?
No, it's a different thing in this case.
Okay.
You see,
tell us about it.
You see, Nnamdi Kanu has been accused of heading IPOB. And IPOB has many followers. And so, the operatives of the state, these are the ones that had personal contact with the accused person. And they have been involved in the investigation of that case over a period of time. They must provide evidence and be cross-examined by the lawyer of the accused, so that if there are areas where they had lied, it will be detected along the line. So they cannot be represented in court. It has to be they themselves coming before the lawyers of the accused for cross-examination. For instance, if they said, Kanu, we saw you eating rice on so date, Kanu should be able to, through his lawyer, that this particular date, you said you saw me eating rice. I was in detention and only Eba was brought to me. But if it's to be a proxy coming to give evidence, that evidence will fall flat.
No.
So that's one. Two, for security reasons, for a high-profile case like this, you will be endangering the lives of these operatives when you allow them to talk in
their lives
the open
in the
court.
sense that IPOB, or members of IPOB might attack them. Is that what you're saying?
It's possible. It's
So,
possible. Have you not witnessed? Have you not witnessed armed robbery gang?
Does that add credence to the fact that IPOB might be a terrorist organization?
No, that is for the court to settle.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, have you not witnessed it? I think it was in Benin or somewhere, I can't remember the place now, or Delta, that a robbery suspect was brought to court. And members of the gang came to rescue him and killed security operatives. So it can happen. Some people may just have sympathy for Kanu and they may want to attack. So they need to also preserve the lives of these people.
But in this particular case, they have like 5 witnesses, Max. Not just an individual. And each time they get to court,
these are 5 witnesses person, you know, of security agents of the state that were involved in the investigation of this case. So they need to protect them. You have just answered the question, very straightforward. If Kanu had not come into contact with any of these 5, he would have objected, because the prosecuting lawyer would bring them up for Kanu to identify.
But he said something.
And if Kanu has not had any interaction during investigation with these people, the lawyers of Kanu Agabi and his team would have said, this man has never had any contact with Kanu. So where is he coming from?
Kanu said something that the DCCC man wasn't even a DSS officer.
That what?
He said that the man that was brought before him to, who actually come to court to, bear witness,
to give evidence,
testify and to bring evidence, actually is not a DSS officer.
Who said so?
Kanu himself.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
That's where
I don't have a list of DSS officers.
I have something to say.
Okay, let's have
what I want to say is this. See, like what we're talking about, just 30 seconds to derail a little. Look at that Benue case. And we're talking about the governor being the chief security officer of the state. And people said he cannot, get arms, he cannot empower the people with arms. But security is not about arms only. It's about intelligence gathering. Somebody will gather intelligence, give it to somebody else who will make use of it physically. But the person that is gathering the intelligence is not doing anything except to give you information.
Okay,
so in this Kanu case, if like what goes on in the station itself, you see when they gather information, the police will come with the evidence. And if you see anybody in contact,
if I understand it clearly, you're saying that look, these the witnesses should be made public.
Yes.
So Nigerian. So
if you are intelligence agents,
if Kanu is saying that this is not a DSS official, there should be somebody within the public that can attest to the fact that yes, this individual is not a DSS official. Yes. As against it being his words against theirs.
Yes, because if you cover the person's face now, the person says, my name is Lawa.
No,
and
we've established that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can see the witnesses,
but when they
are docked.
What I'm saying that, what about the lawyers? Can they see the
when
same
they cross-examine? When they cross-examine? Well,
they cannot. Anyway, the important thing is that it's good that we are holding this discussion. The court case has been adjourned for 18th of July. So we'll see how the case goes. We need to move on to open up their own case, and they have already said that they are going to file a no case.
That means they are throwing out.
We'll see what happens. Then let's move on to the next conversation. As federal government arraigned Natasha Akpoti for alleged defamation, and the court has granted her 50 billion naira bail. Join us again.
planning a special occasion? Or are you looking for a place to store your boat? Welcome to Big's Boat Club and Gardens. Our gardens provides a serene ambience for those special occasions like weddings, birthdays, family picnics, or any outdoor event. And if you're a boat lover and you've been worried about where to store your precious boat, worry no more. We introduce Big's Boat Club and Gardens. At Big's Boat Club and Gardens, we are more than just a boatyard. We are a premier destination for boat lovers. We provide a secure environment for you to store your priceless boats, and we ensure they are in top shape for whenever you need them. Our members have freedom to commercialize their boats for exclusive cruises and luxury trips to stunning beach houses. And when it's time to set sail, our on-site field station ensures you are always ready to cruise in style. Big's Boat Club and Garden is located at Wale Olateju Crescent off Admiralty Way, Lekki Phase 1. Follow us on Instagram at bigsgarden_BBC. Big's Garden, where
Senator Natasha Akpoti of Kogi Central has appeared before the Federal High Court in Abuja to face criminal defamation charges brought by the federal government, alleging she accused Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, of plotting her assassination. Now, the senator entered a plea of not guilty and was granted 50 million naira bail with a surety who must own property in Abuja. With her trial adjourned until September 23, 2025, security, of course, was tight at the court as the senator, flanked by supporters including her husband, former education minister Obi Ezekwesili, and activist Aisha Yesufu, attended proceedings. Now, prosecutors argued that prosecutors called for her remand, pointing to the severity of her accusation. But Justice Chizoba Orji emphasized the principle of presumed innocence and approved bail. Witnesses include Akpabio and Bello. They are slated to testify during her trial. Well, let's bring it to the studio right away. We have Daily Fanimo with us in the studio. We have Lawale Kundayo as well, and also virtually Comrade Obayowana. Comrade, I'll come to you shortly, but let's start off with Mr. Fanimo in the studio here. Yes. Now, is it? It was 50 million naira bail. Some people have said, look, she should have been granted bail on self-recognizance. What's your reaction?
Evidence of attempt to murder against the ex-governor and the Senate president. So, and besides...
Criminal defamation, you said.
Criminal defamation is different from civil defamation. If it had to be civil, it would be Akpabio, Yahaya Bello, and Akpoti Natasha against themselves. But now, it is the state versus the accused person.
And you think that's because of the jurisdiction of where that crime, all right?
Yes. In some jurisdiction, it's civil.
Okay.
And some, that's why they had to transport Farotimi, because they know it's civil here to Ekiti, where it is criminal. For me, bail is just an assurance that the accused person will be present in court whenever he is needed.
Yeah, but the judge cited that already. That she came.
What I'm saying is that 50 million naira, you are not going to deposit it in the court.
She's not a flight risk.
You understand? It's not going to. You are not going to deposit it in the court. In lieu of, if the person escapes, is the essence of the 50 million naira. So I'm sure they also would have expected that in a criminal case of this magnitude, that there would be argument and counter argument over bail, granting of bail. So they would have prepared their surety and they would also have perfected their papers. So that's why we have not heard that she couldn't meet her bail conditions, and that's why she's been put behind the bars. Because if she had not met that bail condition as at yesterday, she would be in Kuje by now. But it's so interesting that this thing is going this far. And I keep asking myself, why would politicians grandstand and harass each other over issues that can be resolved within their ranks? Because, yes, if this man has said they precipitated attempt to her life because of the withdrawal of security, then for me, she was only suspended. She was not totally removed from the Senate. Of course, after the expiration of the suspension. And I guess it's like by September 23rd, when she will be appearing, it would have been over 6 months. So let's wait. It just occurred to me now that September 23 would be,
and that's close by.
Some days to the end of the suspension.
Okay.
So maybe they gave that long adjournment for people to come in and resolve this thing without coming back to court, so that they can report back to court that there is amicable settlement by September 23rd. That's what I feel now.
Amicable resolution. Interesting. At this point, Comrade Obayiwana, do you expect an amicable resolution at this point? That's one of the questions I have for you. And also, civil society organizations like SERAP have said that, look, this case is overblown, and this defamation suit might stifle or will stifle free speech. Do you share the same thoughts?
For me, first of all, these all parties involved, they are all politicians, and there is also a possibility of the case being amicably resolved before September 23rd. However, I want to go in line with what Serap has said, that this issue has been overblown out of proportion. Senator Natasha Akpoti, the last time I checked, was democratically elected by the good people of Kogi Central to represent that constituency. And since the Senate has just 4 women in the House, she also represents the voices of women, not just from our constituency, but by extension from Nigeria at large. And the recent political feud with the Senate president is not the way to go for the Nigerian Senate at this point in time. I think, for me, this issue is overblown out of proportion, that both parties should come to a truce and amnesty situation to water down their political sentiments, bring down their ego, and focus more on nation building. This one is no longer a matter of who is right or wrong again. Nigerians don't want to know who is right or wrong. Nigerians want to see development and positive strides from the legislative arm of government, from the executive arm of government, and from the judiciary. And these 3 arms of government in recent times are becoming more disappointing to majority of Nigerians, if you sample opinions out there.
After watching this video, now you understand very well what we mean when we say that Nigeria is irredeemable. When we call for the disintegration of Nigeria, you will now understand. There is no plan and there is no way Nigeria will survive in the dish that it is today. And Nigeria continues to deepen into more failure, into more disaster, into more insecurity, and into more economic instability. The earlier we begin to think wisely and focus on the solution, which is disintegration, the better for all of us. It is not a selfish request. It is not just about the Biafran. It is about humanity. If you want to save humanity, you must support the disintegration of the contraption called Nigeria. Divide the country along people that have same value system. People that have same value system. The Oduduwa people, the Middle Belt, the Northerners, and the Southeastern and the Biafrans. That is the only solution. No matter how you try to run away from it, it will continue to haunt you. Thank you, and let's keep watching. Go to comment section and share your comments.